welcome to Office Hours with Dr. G. I'm your host, Dr. G, and I am so glad that you can keep our appointment, even though I've been absent probably for about 3 weeks. But it's good to be here. And tonight, we have back with us from Seven Hill Star Astrology Firm, two of the principals, Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey and Brother Alim. As I said, they are of the Seven Hill Star Astrology Firm, and tonight they will present Astrology's Simplicity in Life. Now, let me tell you a bit about them. Seven Hill Star Astrology Firm is the first and only internationally certified professional astrology firm organized by true and faithful sentient beings in harmony with nature, namely Moorish Americans, honoring their ancient foremothers and forefathers that their days belong upon the earthland. Seven Hill Star Astrology Firm provides AstroLiteracy and concept correction sessions for other sentient beings that are secure in seeking truth and seeking the simplicity in utilizing civics and astrology lovingly for their and their loved ones' benefit. So be prepared to enjoy this presentation, as I said, about astrology, simplicity in everyday life, and Seven Hill Star Astrology Association, called the University Professional Astrology Community, or T.U.P.A.C. And lastly, hear a little bit about Bodily and Plant Health, provided by their copper crystal canvases and more. Again, I am happy to have with me two of the principals, and the song that you're hearing, as a matter of fact, he and I work together, and he is the brains behind the music. I just thought of the melody. Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey and Brother Alim Bey. I just want to welcome you all back, because you have been here before, to Office Hours with Dr. G. Music playing a little bit. Yeah, that's me. You gave us that look. Brother Hasan, that's him saying Dr. G in the background. For those of you who may not have known. And that's him playing the beats and all that. So now you know. Yeah, that's me. Wow. Welcome to Office Hours with Dr. G. You all were here December, I want to say. I want to make sure y'all are not muted. We can make sure we can hear you. Okay, you all were here back in December and giving us a lot of insight and info on astrology and civics. And, you know, it's so interesting how, as you say, civics, it does, but astrology plays a role in everyday life, right? So we are excited. I'm excited. Brother Hasan needs to needs to unmute himself, but let me see if I can do it. I can't do it. No, he's got to unmute. You got to unmute yourself. I'm not sure. Can't unmute your guests because they chose to mute themselves.
Can you?
There you are.
I'm hearing it. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we hear you.
Now, Can you hear me clearly?
So we're talking about the fact.
Greetings.
Peaceful greetings.
All right, indeed. Namaste, we're back here. Namaste.
Right. There is a little.
Islam. Of course, I'm Brother
There's
Hasan
a little bit of a delay.
Here in Morocco in northwestern Mexico. I hope it's not too much of a delay.
It's a bit of a delay, but I'm gonna shut up because I want you're gonna do whatever it is you all are gonna do what you. And I did do what was asked of me, and if I check out. Because I went down to pick up ice and didn't pick up ice. If I check out while in the beginning, I want you to say whatever you say because I need to put ice. I pulled my muscle in my arm about an hour and a half ago, and it's painful. So if y'all don't mind, you can make some introductions, and I'm just gonna mute myself for just a second because I want to get my little ice roll. Is that okay?
Oh yeah. Do your thing, Dr. G.
Yes. Okay. So y'all, I'm just gonna not be here for a few seconds because I just need to I just gonna figure out how to put my picture up there. I don't know. I'm just gonna walk away. How's that? I'll be back. Brother Hasan, Brother Sean, please give us a background and some info about Seven Hill Star, and then I'll be right back. If okay, either one of you.
All righty. I don't know. Let's just. I did hear you said you had to maybe get something to drink or something, but if I'm being heard clearly, what I and Brother Sean intend to share is astrology, simplicity in life. We utilize diverse, means in our protocol to be able to analyze someone's natal chart as well as other charts that are very helpful to help people to see where they are, alrighty, in their life, how far they've progressed, what has taken place since their most recent solar return, and things of that nature. And what we intend to demonstrate tonight and do in a very brief fashion, as well as I intend to answer some questions if needed, because we had wrote down some things pertaining to a particular chart, and that chart is Dr. G's chart. And our intention fully is to expose nothing about her chart specifically. We're not going to speak on where her sun, moon, or ascendant is or anything like that. What we've done is we've taken a bit of a detailed analysis. I have some notes that I have actually here, got some notes and some math that I wrote down myself as I analyzed a lot of different things astrologically pertaining to Dr. G's chart. So my intention is to speak on where she is now without saying or exposing anything about her astrology charts, the different ones that I brought up, and how this year is going to go for her from her most recent solar return back in March till her next solar return in March of 2024. So that's what I and Brother Sean intend to speak on. However, Brother Sean, is there anything that I missed? Anything you'd like to add, bro? I yield.
Definitely check out 7hillstar.com. Check out 7 Hillstar All Rights Reserved on YouTube to see the multitude, of astrology videos, civic videos that we have presented over the past couple of years. That'd be it for me right there.
All right. So what I intend to do, see Dr. G's back. I think, even though if there's a bit of a delay, cool guys, don't even worry about it. We're just going to roll with this thing. We're too cool to be embarrassed, right? So what I intend to do is also assist y'all in really seeing why astrology is important and how you can actually plan your year from solar return to solar return and kind of take out some guesswork. All right. So what I'll do is I will speak on some things that I see. I and Brother Sean, I think the first things that I and Brother Sean would like to speak on is we'll just kind of speak on how the moment in time right now is. All righty. And I guess if I did title it, Brother Sean, we would just speak about the natal promise.
Natal promise?
Right.
Got you.
Yeah. So for my notes here, and Dr. G, what we simply want you to do is just, yes, that resonates, or no, it doesn't, right?
Okay.
So that what I trust will happen, what will happen is people will see that there's something to this. You'll see the natal chart, but then there's other charts that we looked at to get this moment in time right now and till the next solar return. So for the natal promise, what I've written down for the natal promise is that Dr. G, according to where your ascendant is, we're not going to say where your ascendant is in your natal chart, but what it says to me, and it says you inherit erudition and other intangible resources via those that you're allied with. You have a vital and active self-awareness amongst your peers, which motivates you to self-transformation. Via secure discipline, essential interactions with people at large, sudden institutional changes, and an occult/psychological career. Does that at all resonate with how you do? Because the ascendant is how you do.
Yes.
Does that resonate at all? Oh, indeed.
Yes.
Okay, Islam.
As a matter of fact, it does. Yes.
Islam. Islam. Brother Sean, do you have anything as far as the natal promise?
Yeah, the natal promise is Dr. G, when you get manifested, there's this feeling, this aura about yourself to really bring the knowledge to families and multiple families. And that's by means of being able to work with the views that you have, but also able to come, it seems like, naturally into various resources. Like, it seems like if you needed something, it could just pop up, or you would just happen to come across it, and you were able to expand upon that to not only assist yourself, but assist other families as well.
Well, that sounds pretty accurate. Yeah, that sounds like me.
Okay. All righty. The natal promise.
Don't want to toot no horns, but I mean, it just does sound like,
Indeed. So the natal promise for the moon, it says that your soul what your soul dictates, right? The dictates pertaining to your soul and the subconscious mind is centered on self-values via financial discipline, travel, and filtering altruism via outpouring knowledge. So it allows you to be very altruistic when you can share information. Does that resonate?
Yes.
Indeed. Brother Sean, do you have anything on the natal promise for the moon?
Natal promise for the moon, maybe from an early age, maybe your mother was able to give ye the necessary structure needed to really assist you in being able to move forward, especially if you had any dreams younger, anything with like structure, responsibility. She's really able to give you that necessary assistance or guidance to really show you how to work hard in order to get the things that ye needs.
My mother was very self-sacrificing towards me, her only child.
Wow.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that. That's great. Okay. All right. So the natal promise for your son, right? So we're looking at all just natal placements at the moment, which is like your foundation, what your mother manifested you to be. These are the ingredients you are made up of, no matter how far you progress. This would be the socle, right? The socle is the flat surfaced concrete that the pyramid sets upon, right? So in continuing that, the natal promise for the sun says connecting locally and doing community outreach, that is your personality, and it is accomplished through discipline, through wounded healing and isolated regeneration. So it's like the way you outreach, it's a sentiment of being able to feel out others or share with others by recalling the different, maybe painful things you went through, but not using them as a mess, more of it as your message to other people to help motivate them. However, does that resonate as far as when it comes to your ego and personality?
It does from a standpoint of my intent. I don't feel that I've done as much. You said local outreach over the last, maybe 10 or 11 years as we've done the global outreach. However, just this week, and we just had our conference, and I met a young man who put the sign on the window for us, who's local, who said, all of these people are here from all of these places all over the country in Canada. And he said, I'm around the corner and I didn't know about this. So I decided right then and there, and I said, maybe we can work. He's a young, like probably, I don't know what the X is or whatever generation. He's probably in my son's category. And he said, I would like to help get the word out in the local community. So, I know I'm going to have to step it back up. I did it when it was a church. But since I've been, I guess I may have been just as guilty as I say the Moors were, who nobody knocked on my door and told me I wasn't Negro, Black, or colored.
Okay. I get it. So it's kind of being able to feather people gently into the truth of who they really are, to get them out of their misclassifications. Did I get that
Absolutely.
properly?
Yeah, I mean, I have thoughts to how I can reach them on other levels, and then give them the truth about that, about their nationality, but where are their needs? And we've just been talking about this over the last, like, look, Chris and I just talked about it again last night. So this has been the topic of the weekend. So I think that.
Indeed. Well, I guess I'll take this moment to ask Brother Sean, what do you have for the natal promise for the sun then, Brother Sean?
The natal promise for the sun for Dr. G. When I looked at it, I seen that you were probably maybe told while you were younger that you were wise beyond your years. You were probably like the rock for a lot of people, just to come to and speak, and they just felt really comfortable. Because you had to give them that safe space, to speak, and you were just like very. If you wasn't popular in the community, he was definitely probably in the church or the school. Like everyone was just like, "Hey, Dr. G," and just gave you those communications. You were able to put everyone at ease with your loving nature.
That's kind of me. That's kind of been me, how I ended up being, doing what I was doing. It was because of, caring about people. At least I thought that was the way to go about it. But you're right. Early on, I felt like, what's wrong with all these grown people? Why do they keep coming to me, including my mother? That was the truth.
We coming to y'all.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Indeed. Okay, I have Brother Sean. I'm going into the solar return promise. Do you have something for that too? Because after I finish, I'll just go right to you after the solar return promise.
I do.
All right. So for the solar return promise, it says for your solar return, since and I think your solar return this year, well, people know, but I remember I told you in private that it was could have taken place a day before what the solar return to be according to the calendar, because the sun only returns actually to the point when you manifest it. What I've seen in some of my studies and experimenting with different softwares, about every 28 years, the sun actually comes back closer to the time and date that you manifested. However, the solar return promise says shared resources are relatively secured by your long-term goals with the people at large. Therefore, be driven to communicate the isolated principles to secure expansion. So in other words, like if there was some rules, some solid principles, some things that need to be discussed so it can work out, it's almost like you're not micromanaging, but keeping an eye on, how things are progressing without being away from supervising it too long. Does that make sense? Does it resonate?
The shared principles piece, yeah. I mean, like when you talked about that first part of it, that the isolated kind of, that threw me a little bit. But the first part of it is what I kind of got sort of felt like, that's true.
Yeah, isolated principles would be like, for example, let's say you want to show someone how to cook, and maybe you want to fry, for example, like me and my baby tag team on frying mushrooms these last couple of days. So, isolated principle would be, yes, these are the ingredients, but not too much of this and not too little of that, because the outcome would be this. That's what I mean by isolated principle.
Oh, giving that to others, having those kinds of interactions with others.
Correct.
Okay. There are times.
Okay.
There have been times.
Indeed. Well, that's what your year is going to be. From solar return 2023 till solar return 2024. And what I'm going to take this moment to say, now that we're speaking more towards things in dimensions to manifest, term to future, we suggest you keep a diary. When interacting with different querents, which are astrological clients, we would actually tell them to keep a diary. Now, I know much different than what we're doing now. I forwarded you some reports that actually give you the next 30 days in advance. that I emailed to you. However, I still suggest to keep a diary so that you can pay attention to what you actually experienced and how close it is to not only the reports, but actually what we're saying today. Because by the time you get to your solar return 2024, we should be able to go and look back and be like, okay, that was accurate when you talked about this month, and that was accurate for this month. Not so much on this other month, but I can see inklings of it, because that's what we would like to do, because that'll allow us to do proper analysis in our follow-up, and then we'll go, okay, well, if this was the experience, now we can go and backtrack certain charts for that month and then go, okay, so that's why that happened, because this was going on, right? So that's kind of what I mean. However, Brother Sean, solar return promise, what do you have, beloved brother?
All right. So for Dr. G, for this next year, this next sun cycle, you could really be experiencing joy by means of spiritual healing and surrendering to a love philosophy, and also finding instinctual and emotional structure by expanding your mental and physical status. And there could be some sudden changes and transformation in your career and relationships, possibly having profound revelations, visions, and maybe even, making new spiritual contracts for that.
Wow. Okay.
I'll keep
Well,
I'll keep a diary.
I can keep a diary. I can keep a diary so I can see if this is if those are the things. Yeah. That. So now, what you all are doing with me, is this what you would a client who would contract? Well, are they contracted with you? I'm not to make sure you're like.
I mean, if they would come to us, this would be if someone wanted. This is not what would take place in a mirror session. Mirror session is more of teaching people how to actually. It would be astroliteracy. What we're doing here is, if say we come across someone who's like, look, I just need to know how my year is going to go, or hey, what's going on in the area of my finance? What's going on in the area of love for me? Hey, I have this business. I started my business on this date at this time. I need to see projections for the next 2 or 3 years for my business. Can you do that for me? And this is what we would do. We wouldn't get, this is showing, because usually we're technical. And a lot of times people kind of, me, when we get extra technical, right? So what we're actually doing, because again, we are a part of, without, promoting them, but we're part of a very major international astrological society. And when we go and observe our clients and the things that they do, how they do it, we already have discovered that our numbers are way lower than theirs. But that's because of the angle we're coming from. We are recognizing we're speaking to a people who's regaining access to their ancient foremothers and forefathers culture. So what we can do is, one, not starve ourselves, while at the same time not, break people's pockets, even though an hour with us is worth 330 units. But what we trust is, within like 90 minutes, if somebody wanted 90 minutes, we could do this that we're doing here. We're not going to take 90 minutes to do this, because I noticed that when I and my brothers write, we take like an hour or two to write. We get things done in like half the time, or even like a third of the time. You are amazing. Thank you, babe. I appreciate you. That looks great. So all right, so
you cannot eat while we are not eating. You know what I said?
I didn't know she was gonna bring it. Fried mushrooms. So what we would do with in that situation, right? Because this is us promoting, where if somebody was like, hey, I want to have 15 minutes with you guys. Okay, that's 45 notes through the Cash App. 45 units through the Cash App in lieu of lawful money. Hey, I need a half an hour. Okay, that's 78. Hey, I need an hour. It's 153. When we know it's worth 330. If we were to work in the White House, it would be 330 an hour. And to work as a team, we can actually cover a lot more ground. Like, even though we can do different types of astrology, because I'll say this, Brother Sean, I won't go too deep, because we're actually about to put a book together and release a book, because Mother Rashida Bey, shout out to her, Great Sale National Association of Moorish Americans, the Sayara, she predicted that I would go through a scholarship program, which I did, and write a book and things of that nature. So we're preparing to do that, but I want my brother's commentaries in there. And we look at three different astrologies. We look at the astrology pertaining to the spirit before it puts on the soul. It's called draconic astrology. And I noticed that a lot of people within our community didn't even know that draconic astrology existed until I mentioned it. You know what I mean? However, amongst our colleagues across the world, draconic astrology is like, oh yeah, yeah, I got that in my pocket right here. Here you go. Like that's how they treat it in that world. But that's the spirit before it puts on the soul. The soul's astrology is what people know as tropic astrology here in the Maghreb, as you know, oh, the sun sign is the most important. However, anciently, the ascendant is how you would identify, not your sun. And the moon is who ye actually are, right? And then to see how things physically turn out for you, we would go to the sidereal. So to kind of look at, you know, someone in whole, we would look at, you know, the spirit putting on the soul, putting on the physical. So it's like those Russian nesting dolls. You got this one doll sitting inside of this other doll, sitting inside this other doll. And that's how we analyze the astrology. So to answer your question, and I'll yield, this is what we would do with someone who's not taking an AstroLiteracy course, but actually looking for direction and how to actually jot down the events in their life so that they can kind of gauge what to do, when to do it. I yield.
Can I say a couple of things? So I know you do this, but I didn't hear you mention it. So someone is trying to decide, say, for instance, where they should be domiciling or working, or whether in it when we talk about directionally or whatever it's called, geographically. Yeah, geographically. Okay. You can you talk about that? What's my camera was unplugged. Okay, whatever. Can you talk a little bit about that? Let me find myself.
Brother Sean, I can follow up. You want to talk about the astrolocality? Or
yeah, so so yeah, as Brother Hasan just said, it's called astrocartography. So just like we have a natal promise with our natal chart, when we look at astrocartography, that natal chart is now being shown with different lines of all the different planets across Earth. And each planet we know has a different responsibility to do. So we can look at the different lines pertaining to someone wants. So like if someone wanted to do a honeymoon, we could look at a specific planet and look at the different lines to have them for there. Or if someone wanted to maybe, you know, take a journey, you know, for some sort, you know, we can look at a different point for that. Or if they wanted to promote business, you know, especially with communications and, you know, marketing, advertising, we can look at different lines, you know, at so-called different states, we know state republics, and we can, you know, point, hey, you know, these are the different state republics that would be good for you to do that. And, you know, if someone wanted to maybe, you know, start teaching, they could look at different lines where they could go for there as well, to where they would get the most impact. And we could also see where places are not really good for them to stay away from, so that they're always in harmony and things are working out, so that one doesn't have to be like, you know, I'm domiciling in this area and things just don't seem to be working well for me. And we could look at like, oh, well, you know, this is this so-and-so line, and this is why, you know, things are going as they are. And we can give a suggestion as to somewhere else they can go, depending on what they're looking for, to assist them with the energies and things they're looking to get. And I yield to you, bro.
Okay. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but I know you definitely cannot see me because I can't see.
We hear you, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. I just unmuted.
Okay, yeah. For some reason, you're gonna have to look at me like that for a minute until I figure out how to get the camera back on. So, good.
Yeah, no worries. To just kind of you know, camel back off of what Brother Sean's saying. Yes, there's plenty of times I've done. There you is.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of different astrocartography, astro relocation for beings, different mothers and sons across the planet. And I can get specific. I can go, okay, well, if someone's like, well, I want to take a vacation and and I'm thinking about going here. Will I find someone I'll fall in love with? And I'm like, okay, all right, and I'll be able to utilize my tools to be able to see what's near that region. And really, I can pick anywhere on the map. It's just that we really look for where planetary energies are strongest. You know, you're going to get a reading from anywhere on the planet. Actually, we'll be able to still see it and, you know, produce reports. However, the short answer is yes. I mean, even when, you know, I do traveling and, you know, somebody wanted me to, you know, go to a certain part on Earth, and I was like, yeah, no. Because and then someone was like, hey, what about this area? And when I did an astrocartography, because I'm looking ahead, like, okay, what date? That's cool. Let me see how it ties in with my natal chart. I'm just like, yo, like, I might actually thrive there and like surrounding areas too. So let me give an example of how I use that. There was a brother who sold a certain type of caps, like baseball caps or like the adjustable caps. And he had like fezzes embroidered on the front of them. I think it was called Fez Dad caps, right? And he had came to me and was like, bro, I remember you said that I could promote my business off of, you know, in long story short, I was like, bro, just advertise on Instagram. It's like, I want to, but I don't know what areas. So I was like, all right, it's no problem. So when I casted an astro relocation chart for vocation and business, I saw that for his particular chart, I was like, yo, like these areas look good, but Houston, near the Houston Corporation, right? Texas State Republic looks really, 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 really strong. And so he was like, all right, man, I'm just going to try it. And so he did, I think, Instagram and Facebook advertising. Mm-hmm. And he actually did, out of all of the places I told him that were good, he did sales in all of them, but Houston was clearly the strongest. Houston was clearly the strongest. I think he had like 13 people that responded from specifically near the Houston Corporation to that advertisement in like maybe less than a month. Mm-hmm. And that was just based off of me looking at his natal chart and then being like, you know, using my tools for Astrolocality. And I was like, hey man, well, for business, these areas would be great, but it was really, really strong going through the Houston Corporation, and he was very successful. Alrighty, I know he's on Instagram. Anybody want to check, you know, behind me? That's the only reason I kind of mentioned him, because I know people are going to probably want to ask. But Fez, F-E-Z, Dad, D-A-D, Caps, C-A-P-S, Fez Dad Caps on Instagram. I'm pretty sure you can reach out to him and be like, yo, Hasan said, you know, he did Astrolocality for you, and he said Houston was really strong for you. Is that true, or is that cap? Like, like no pun intended, but you can find out, you know, that way. So short answer is yes.
How about if someone was facing like a surgery? I understand because I just had surgery and I had to look at certain aspects. I forgot to call you back then, but I did figure out how to I everything, all the boxes checked except one, and so maybe that's why it was more pro than con, you know, when it happened. But if somebody was going to have a surgery or some kind of medical procedure, not necessarily wouldn't it be wise or prudent? Would it be wise and prudent for them to have a chart cast if it's a non-emergency, but it's necessary but not emergency? I mean, obviously, if something, yeah.
So I think we had a conversation like that, though. Honestly, I think we did, but I think it was for someone else. And in that conversation, Dr. G, I had kept it real brief. I was like, well, the hands of the surgeon is Mercury and the scalpel is Mars. And so what we would look for is, you know, the dignities pertaining to Mars and Mercury, right? And so with looking at those things between Mars and Mercury, we will want to see, like, what are the different aspects? What are the dignities between the two planets? How are they weighted? What would they score when we finish looking at them? Anything retrograde, we probably wouldn't want, because 9 times out of 10, you're going for a surgery and either Mercury or Mars is retrograde, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to get that done over. So the best time for surgeries would be when Mercury and Mars are well dignified, well aspected, and direct. And direct is the opposite of retrograde.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
So
Can I add to that, bro? But to the surgeries, and also with that, it's like certain times, like during the newer full moons, I have to check my references, but just paraphrasing. It's like certain times when a planet is transiting something, depending on what body part you're getting worked on, it wouldn't be a good time for that, depending on the transit. So that helps as well to not get certain surges at a certain time through certain periods, because as Brother Hassan said, one would have to either get the process redone again, or something could go not in one's favor.
And perhaps that is why there are so many medical issues that people have, because nobody knew or to check. But do the doctors get any training about themselves? Does astrology play into to them for when they would be at their peak for doing these different things like surgeons? I would think they should have that information.
They should, they should definitely. I feel from my perspective that doctors should definitely work with astrologers and have their patients' charts so they can be effective in it. So they're not just doing it because they're not aware of it. They know they're doing the operation, but it might not be a really great time for that. So for the medical field to work with astrologers, even like I said, doctors, surgeons, herbalists, therapists, they really all should have either a basic training in astrology, or they should be able to work with astrologers to really bring full circle the things that the patient is really needing, so that they are getting what they need, so they don't have to keep coming back or something going wrong.
Absolutely. I know we digressed a bit, but I just want, I know you what chart you were going to go over, but I also know that the folks that are listening, they just don't want to be a fly on the wall, and some of them may have their own questions and things. And so I think I'm trying to anticipate what I might be thinking while I'm listening to somebody tell somebody else about themselves.
Yeah, indeed. And then I saw somebody else too, Dr. G, they had asked, they said, what if you can't get your, I'm going to quote them, they said birth time. Now, that's where rectification would come into play, and there are different techniques that we utilize to rectify a chart. However, the hard questions are going to get asked, but usually when someone doesn't have a time, if they don't have a time at all, we're casting for either noon or midnight, and then we ask hard questions. However, if they got a roundabout time, be like, well, my mother said between 8 and 9. I'd be like AM or PM, and they'll be like, PM, I think, because I was born at night, but they said between 8 and 9. And so maybe I'll just use 8:30, and then I'll still ask hard questions to try to get to that, because what I'll be looking for is like prominent things that could have taken place based on certain planets in respect to other areas in the chart. And so then with that, I'll be able to rectify a time. Like, I didn't want to, because, Dr. G, I'm not about, the slack talking gossip, but I figured when you asked me in private about a particular celebrity that's trending right now because of some show on Netflix, I was like, you know what? I brought it to the bros. Shout out to Brother Corey Bay, who we call the Exalted Cyclops.
Exalted Cyclops!
Chart. He looked up a chart for the entertainer known as Jamie Foxx. And so I think Brother Sean could probably do a screen share as an example, because I wanted to show like one technique that I use, that when I look at the technique and I wanted to see when like Saturn, because Jamie Foxx has Saturn in Aries. So Saturn is in his fall in Aries. Right. However, I wanted to see when would it hit the midheaven? When would it hit the highest point in the sky in his natal chart if we just kind of, directed it, right, along the equator, and I was like, what happened in 2003, 2004? And at that time, you know, because I was speaking with one of our other beloved mothers, right, when our beloved mother Oracle, and I was like kind of going over it with her a bit. I'm like, yeah, let's see what happened in 2003, 2004. And that's Jamie Foxx Unleashed. He did Ray in 2004. I think in 2005 it was something else. So as an example, I'm just saying all of that to be like, if somebody didn't have their natal time, but I could ask about events in their life at certain times that they can remember, then that would help me to be able to get a more accurate time by making sure I'm putting certain things at the angles, so to speak, the ascendant or midheaven or the opposite there, or the reflection thereof. I yield.
Well, actually, it's back to you anyway, I guess. I'm not sure where I took you.
Alrighty. So, oh no, I got it all written down, so I know where we stopped off on this next part. And they're really short what we have. So the next thing we have is called perfections. Perfections is another type of way of directing a chart. And you know, since you're experiencing, you know, the solar return that you're experiencing, we know that you're having a ninth house perfection. Perfection means advancing, moving forward, or advancing. This is a technique done in traditional, some people call it ancient astrology, when checking like ancient astrologers like Vincenzo Pedicerius, Regiomontanus, Ptolemy, Vettius Valens, Safariel. These are just who I just named off was like, if we were talking hip hop, I just said Kool and the Gang, Kool Mo D, LL Cool J. That's what I just did, because these people, if you really like, astrology is a lot like hip hop. It really, really is. It's just that people are back then they were more in tune with spherical trigonometry than I think we are now, because we have so many softwares and things of that nature. However, to get to the point, your perfection promise for the you know, I'm not going to say your age unless you want to say your age, but I will say it's dealing with, what'd you say?
I don't care.
Okay, so age 68 gives the ninth house perfection, which means it's dealing with law and religion. It's dealing with world affairs, foreign affairs, long distance travel, foreigners, publishing would be some key terms for ninth house perfection. So the perfection promise for you, what I saw, I was like, okay, since you're dealing with the ninth house perfection, I said for you, Dr. G, that age 68 is about study and publishing one's findings. Law and religion may be prominent, especially in foreign affairs. And it's interesting because you said just recently you had a young man tell you about a lot of people foreign to the locale, so to speak, specifically, and he didn't even know about it. So that's even still, even though he's close, the idea and the institution is foreign to him.
Mm-hmm.
I yield. Brother Sean, you have anything as far as the perfection promise?
I do not.
No worries. So, Dr. G, that's what I'm saying. Just keep a diary for that, for the perfection, because you can see how all of 68 goes, right? Next, we have the Firdaria promise, right? So there are some planets that are prominent for a certain amount of time. And at this time, and I think it's been since about May for you, the Firdaria are the two planets, without exposing those two planets, I would say, and this is what you will also keep a diary of: thoughtfulness and shared communication. They are valued and are accomplished through expressing wounded healing. So there it is again, being able to turn the mess into the message, expressing wounded healing, secure isolation, which means you're going to have to take time away from people to recharge, structured activities, which means some form of exercise, and closure with the people at large. So that this is going to be like people are going to some way, shape, or form need to know even though you are down to earth, Dr. G, they're gonna really want to be like, well, dang, you're like, it's like no matter what, she really is down to earth, and that's where more support is going to come from during this time pertaining to these particular planets that are ruling. To continue, therefore, Dr. G, possess local recreation. What I mean, like, take charge of just doing local recreation, whatever it is you like enjoying, if it's walking, riding a bike, whatever the case may be, when you can really take advantage of that, and allow your inner child soul to evolve, right? Because there are some goals for property and public image that you are to obtain. And it's interesting because it may seem like, well, how is recreation going to help me with that? Well, it's going to allow you to exert certain energies that free you up to receive.
Okay.
All right. And finally, in order for the people to be motivated to lose after sharing their wounds, right? To lose their pain. That's what they're losing. They're losing the wounds. Dr. G, ye must share how you structured and reached how you structured and reached previous long-term goals with the people at large. So, like, I think you kind of did that already a bit, but you can let me know too as time goes on. But you was like, I know how to basically reach the people before exposing, the full truth of it. It's like I have to prime them first.
Right.
And I think one of the primers would be showing people your past successes with the people at large. So it's almost like sharing your resume so that these new beings that are going to come seeking some form of guidance, some form of energy healing, they're going to look to that resume and be like, look, man, I have no questions. Can you do this for me? And that'll be that. With that being said, how much of that is resonating with you since May? From May till now, has any of that been your experience?
I mean, I'm interacting with people all the time. So, there was always, I'm not, one conversation could have multiple aspects to it, which might include some of those things. But what struck me just from this weekend, I met a sister for the first time who relocated here from New York territory. And one of the presenters, Dr. Elagon, had invited her to come. And it turns out that the sister, very sharp sister. She's a Reiki master, acupuncturist. She's a chef, a holistic chef. She was trained for that. And she's a therapist. And when she got up to speak, she said, I am here, she said, to heal the healer. So we got to talking afterwards, and we put our heads together and said, we're going to talk further about how we could do more things at the House of Reawakening Minds to heal, bring the people in for the healing, but the leaders first, so that they can be effective in spreading that to those who follow them.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just this weekend.
Okay. So yeah, that's on point. That Firdaria promise is on point. Brother Sean, do you have a current Firdaria promise?
I do. Right. So I kind of look back a little bit. So, roughly in about March of 2012, knowledge, communication, social awareness, and networking became very important. There could have been an increase in phone calls and communications. And, moving up until now, you possibly probably could have signed a new contract, or you had a change of ideas of how you wanted to communicate. Possibly could have been seeking or met a companion, and intellectual needs had to be met. So business partners and new and updated contracts became more of a thing, and also just making more short trips than usual. And, just kind of now at today, you're really seeing the beauty and the value of all those communications that occurred, starting back in March of 2012. You're now able to see the beauty of it. You're now able to see the value, and loving and valuing those connections and those communications that started now, as you are about to end out this cycle here soon.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, 2012 was a real pivotal. Wasn't the 2010 in December was the big, like, if we go in hair thing, was my big chop. Like, I cut, but within the next 2 years there were some changes. Where am I supposed to be? And so there were different helpers that came on scene during that 2 year period. Probably a little further than that, but they came, they did their little part to keep things afloat, and then they left, and then another group came in. So yeah, it was a change in, am I, at the time, because I really wasn't deep in 2011 with the Moorish science till I met Grand Sheik, which was almost towards the end of the year. But before that, I didn't know whether I was just supposed to be a holistic practitioner. The what do you call it? The Pan Africanist came and supported me for about a year, and then I said that I was told to say things in a different way and to open the door to more folks, and they exited. So yeah, it was all in that period, especially in 2012.
Indeed, I would like to. Were you complete, Brother Sean? I didn't want to cut your wisdom.
Indeed, yeah, I yield, bro.
All right, so with that being said, then what I'm even seeing with that, because you just mentioned something, even when you said, because I mentioned something earlier about institutional changes, and so that was huge with what you just said, as far as like reaching people in different ways, and maybe you have been reaching them previously. However, I've there's some other things in your chart that I didn't really write down, but I remember from looking at your chart. It's almost like you are you were born to be an occult practitioner, period.
Correct.
It's like correct me if I'm wrong, I may say something and I hope it's not disrespectful, but it's almost like when you were being a pastor, you still felt something inside of you like, I got more energy to give than this. I don't know if it's going to be accepted. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, one way of kind of merging into that for it to be acceptable from other people, maybe, you correct me if I'm wrong, is you doing Reiki. When actually you have the propensity to do a whole lot of other things outside of that to fully express that occult, because I'm telling you what I see in your chart. When it comes to occult knowledge and expressing it, you actually have it a lot more than you show. That's what I see.
And that is true, and that is absolutely true. And when I was a pastor, I have like tons and tons of sermons and so forth, and my messages were out. I called them out the box. And then I had a group of and we called it chilling in the living room. They were my chillins in the living room after service. The ones that wanted me to go deep stayed, and we chilled, and I spoke. It was like they did way back in the day. After the benediction, now we're gonna talk truth. I taught about the Essenes and different things, and I was pastoring, and I'm talking about esoteric and so forth. And yeah, you're right. That's right.
Islam. So finally, right, before we get into looking at, the future to come and things to jot down, right? The final thing that we have just leading up to just you looking at the future, because this will be for the record, right? And then you'll be able to keep a diary even off this record here. The Zodiacal releasing promise. All right, so that's what we'll term it, Zodiacal releasing promise, right? And I'm pretty sure Brother Sean has something there. I may have a sentence or two, maybe just one sentence. So right now, there are some activated signs in your life that are pertaining to your career, because we're looking at the part of spirit for your Zodiacal releasing promise, and part of spirit is for the career, right? For this portion that I wrote up, it says unknown. This is what I wrote down right here. All right. Unknown financial literacy and the details securing the long-term goals are spiritually vital. and must be studied with allies/business partners for expanding joint finances. So if you're doing any type of partnering in any way, shape, or form, if it's not spiritually suitable for you, no matter how good the partnering may seem, I don't think if you do it, you're not going to be fulfilled. Because it seems like in this moment of time, what would be most fulfilling is if it's something that's along your spiritual path. And we know spiritual means descended from breath. Spirituality is the art pertaining to your breathing. So if there is someone who is not allowing you to breathe easily, then no matter how good the partnering is, it may be best for you to either do it and keep a diary of like, yeah, see, they said don't do this, and I see now what the particulars. Or if it is something that seems like, okay, yeah, this is great, this is really going down the path, still keep a diary. However, I'm saying that your Zodiacal releasing promise is showing once again that unknown financial literacy and the details securing the long-term goals are spiritually vital and must be studied with allies/business partners for expanding the joint ventures. So if you're not on the same page spiritually and as far as the structure to the plan, it's no point in even doing it. That's what I got from your Zodiacal release.
Wow. Okay. That kind of rings some bells in like a couple of different areas.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Brother Sean, do you have anything for Zodiacal releasing promise?
Yeah, I actually looked at just a couple different times, as we would call it, times, right? So you know, roughly back when you were about 42 years of age, a couple questions I had was there could have been some opportunities or opportunity presented itself that might have seemed foreign at first to what you was used to, but that brought the opportunity to do some long distance travel and became more interested in the higher learning arts and religion and law. And that's from about like August of like 1997 till about like June 2009.
That's too far back in my memory.
Too far back. Well, let me see. I got another one.
In my memory bank, I do apologize because I'll be stretching and I'm like, what, when, how?
No worries. So I got another thing, right? Maybe about November 10th, 2010, did something occur pertaining to your family or home life? Maybe like a major issue was resolved. And it really dated back to something that happened in like March 8th or 9th of that same year, about November 10th.
I don't know. I know what happened on December 18th of that same year, but I don't know what happened on November 10th.
Interesting. I actually got something for that too.
Okay.
About 6 days after that. So there was a change in status, right? Maybe healing of some skin or dental issues. Maybe something with authority had occurred to where you had to make some sudden changes.
Yeah, I stood up and started talking about UFOs and so forth in the pulpit on the 19th of December. Did I say December? Yeah, December. Yeah, and folks were still trying to figure me out. They were all right on the 19th. But they thought about it for a couple of days, and then they called a meeting.
Wow.
So, yeah, I got yes.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
And I just got one more thing, and it's funny because I already had this written, and you spoke about Reiki. So coming up about like September 3rd, there's going to be opportunity for higher spirituality learning and home transformation, something to help with children foundation and communications. You might be looking forward to further your Reiki practice or have a newfound sense of spirituality and also responsibilities. And that comes with, the changing of friends in a social circle and reevaluating your personal life and your network connections. And this is just in time to manifest, coming up to around about September 3rd.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Indeed. So when we do like predictions, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Mother?
No, I said I'll, like you said, I'll be watchful as to what happens in that period.
Yeah, because when we do predict, when we go back in time and see things and do predictions in the times to the dimensions to manifest that we term future, when we're doing that, honestly, it could be a give or take of about 6 months prior or 6 months after, especially when doing directions, certain different directional techniques that we do. However, we can get fairly close and accurate because I'm a stickler for math. Brother Sean will let you know. Because just earlier we were doing a lot of intensive math based off of some already, applied spherical trigonometry. So we were just going over some basic math. However, it was just like, let's do these different things. But like, for example, like, let's say like if I'm looking at one planet to another planet, let's just do an exact. Matter of fact, Brother Sean, do you have Jamie Foxx's chart? We can just kind of segue real quick before I do the year in advance, because Dr. G, you already experienced 5 lunar returns already, so I'm gonna check out 8 more and just kind of look at what's going on there as far as your year is concerned for you to take diary. But would you like to take this moment to kind of look at Jamie Foxx's chart as I give an example?
Yes, of course.
All right. So, Brother Sean, you got Jamie Foxx's chart? Because I mean, I got the information off the top of my head. I know what time he was born, where, and all that.
Yep. Is it showing?
Not yet.
Let me see. Here, wait a minute. Here we go. Let me add it to. Well, it's a bunch of stuff up there. I guess you want to.
Oh, is it showing now?
Yes.
Boom. Right. So yeah. So shout out again to the Exalted Cyclops, Brother Corey Bay. He had, looked it up and was like, yo, like Jamie Foxx's chart, it's interesting. And one of the first things I noticed, I'm like, oh, okay, he's a Gemini ascendant. He has Saturn in fall, which means, Exalted is like, it gets a boost. It doesn't have to work too hard. It's always getting assistance. Saturn's not doing too much of the assisting. However, it's not getting too much assistance. So it just let me know that Jamie Foxx had to probably work very, very hard, so to speak. And had to earn every bit of it. However, he's got an exalted moon in Taurus. The thing is, though, by looking at this, I look at charts 2 different ways. Of course, we have a Placidus tropical house system. So this is Placidus. Placidus is so every planet a point can spend at least 2 hours in a house. 2 hours, 12 houses, 24 hours. So now I'm also want to look at it in my mind as whole sign, and we don't have to make it a whole sign chart, Brother Sean. I can do this mentally just for the example. However, if Brother Sean actually was to direct the Saturn towards the midheaven, his midheaven is there in Aquarius at 25 degrees 54 minutes. Brother Sean, can you bring your cursor to the midheaven? So yeah, right there, 25 degrees 54 minutes is that. So I wanted to know, since in this Placidus chart, and even because it would be his whole sign 9th house. So I'm like, okay, so there's some 9th house issues tied to the career. There's got to be some type of law and religion. There's got to be some type of publishing. There's got to be some type of foreign travel, some type of, shocking, sudden changes. So he may have had to do a lot of traveling, more than he was used to. Because as you can see, it says he's manifested near the Terrell Corporation, Texas State Republic, right? So, in brief, one example that I did, and I think it's going to come to about, I wanted to see like later on in that day when he manifested, when was Saturn going to hit that midheaven? When was it going to hit 25 degrees 54 minutes? And I think it took place like around 1600 hours, right? And I know, Brother Sean, you could, if you wanted to, you could just hurry up and get Saturn to, you can get the ascendant to Aries, the 5 degrees 39 minutes Aries, real quick, and we can show the time. But what's most important would be really, no, towards the midheaven. Pardon me, towards the midheaven, right?
Gotcha.
So we want the midheaven to be at 5 degrees 39 minutes. Aries. So that's what we want. We want the midheaven to be 5 degrees 39 minutes Aries. And when I did certain calculations in my head, even though that's the same day that he manifested, I know that, you know, like the Bible says, I'm trying to remember which scripture is slipping my mind right now, but I give a day for a year. So I can look at the first, like Dr. G, if I wanted to, I can look at the first 70 days after you were manifested, and I can look at year 70 for you, right? And cast a chart based off of the ephemeris for the 70th day after you manifested, right? However, for this particular one, I'm not necessarily doing a progression as much as I'm doing a direction. And looking at this particular direction that Brother Sean is bringing up, I know that this time that it brought up, okay, yeah, it's about 1900. That's right, 1900 and some change. So that's right, Brother Sean. 1900, 1745. So yeah, so Jamie Foxx, after he was, let's just say, after Jamie Foxx manifested, he manifested at 1650. That's what it's been rectified to, right? So 1745 would be, let's see, 16 to 1850 is 2 hours, 27. So 2 hours, 27 minutes, and 45 seconds. 2 hours, what happened? Okay, I thought somebody said something. 2 hours, 27 minutes, and 45 seconds later, I just, long story short, I'm like, okay, that's 2004. 2003 is 2004. Because there's other calculations that I've done. I'm not going to get technical here. I'm not going to get too mathy. The point that I'm making is, once I came to the conclusion that it was 2003, 2004, and really more 2004 than anything, and I just Wikipedia'd it. I'm like, Jamie Foxx, and saw Wikipedia, and it lists the different things he went through. And right around 2004 is when he did Jamie Foxx Unleashed, Ray, and I think it was something else that I think Unpredictable came out in 2005, right? So around this time, even though Saturn is in its fall, but we see in his natal chart is ruling his career in ancient astrology. It would be Uranus in modern astrology. However, I really wanted to look at Saturn because that's what just piqued my interest. Because I am, first and foremost, I don't sell at all or really promote it like that. However, I am psychic, very intuitive and insightful. I utilize astrology, tarot, and other tools like GPS for my psychic abilities to just kind of like, I'm going to get surgical, all right? So in doing that, I was able to see like, no wonder that's exactly what happened. And this allows I and my brothers to trust our protocol and our process for, say, when like someone had mentioned in the chat, hey, what if I don't know the time I manifested? Okay, cool. We would rectify the chart like we're doing here. We will either direct or progress the chart, but 9 times out of 10, we'll do some type of direction. And there's many different type direction techniques that we could do. So I just wanted to utilize that as an example. I yield, and we can go back to what you can keep a diary for, Dr. G, if you like.
Okay. Oh, let me add back to this. Okay. All right.
Okay. I mean, I see somebody saying that they would need, they want guidance in studying the zodiac signs. The first thing that we do, I mean, 7healstar.com, shameless plug, 7healstar.com, we do have classes there that we have already archived that people can get access to or whatever once they transact eleemosynary tuition. That means once you exchange what you need to exchange via Cash App, we'll give you access to it. You can download the classes and study them at any time you like. The first thing that's paramount we always suggest is getting a mirror session. So when it comes to internationally certified professional astrologers, because like Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, we can the strongest weapon in our hands is our own free national press, so that we may shovel ourselves from under the avalanche of lies heaped upon us annually. So what we've done for our
Oh, bro, you froze up. Pull the brother Jay.
Oh God, I'm trying to move this arm, and I don't know. Can you pick up on what he was talking about, or maybe he'll unfreeze? Oh,
I'm
there.
not sure.
Okay, because he was talking about for someone who wants guidance on learning the zodiac. I think that's what he said.
Right. So, yeah, as he was saying, there are workshops that we have on the website. There's
Okay.
a oh, bro's back. All right, there you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
forgive me. Okay, so I don't know what happened for them in that moment, but what I was saying, 7hillstar.com. Yeah, we got classes there or whatever. But the first thing we do usually suggest, and saying that what I was saying, I'm like, hey, we're internationally certified, of course, but we went and got certified through a major astrological society after making sure we did it through our own free national press. So myself, brother Corey Bey, of course, brother Sean Lee Mel, and brother Terrell Tamari Bey. And Senior Jackson Bey from our Astrology Street, who does the Moorish Latin or Spanish portions of Astrology Street, which is a puppet show that I've produced that teaches astrology, and of course my motive for that was to get the children interested, so then the mothers and fathers will get interested, and then people are studying themselves. I think you can solve the problems in the hood with astrology. Because the reason why there's problems in any hood is due to a lack of knowledge pertaining to self. So in knowing yourself, for me, of course, meeting Prophet Noble Drew Ali in his literature first, and then being able to see the connection between him and Charles Mosley Bey without listening to any slack talk or gossip outside of myself, right? Just following the dictates of my own soul and let no one put their spirit on me. I saw this connection. I'm like, well, this would really solve the issues, because I was thinking, like, people need mirror sessions. So that's the point I'm making. That's the first thing we would suggest, is getting a mirror session. You really want to learn astrology. We have a session that's 3 hours long. Sometimes we throw specials. We did one for my solar return just recently, but for 3 hours, it's 459 units in lieu of lawful money. We have our colleagues that want 2 notes less for 457, but they're giving you 90 minutes. Not knocking them. I'm not going to say who they are, because they're our colleagues. You know what I'm saying? But we're not, we know that we're talking to a people that may need an extra 90 minutes. However, I know people will probably think too, like, wow, that's pretty, that's expensive, but no. In the astrology world, astrologers bare minimum are worth $330 an hour. So you come across an astrologer who's talking about they want 457 for 90 minutes. That's standard. That's pretty standard, and they can modify as they want and as they choose. So 7hillstar, what we've done is we've like, okay, well, we still got to eat, even though there's certain astrologers that I know that are our colleagues. They're able to take care of their mortgage and they get new land conveyances and stuff like that. But these people they're not focused on a disadvantaged people. They could really care less. Like, I've got a chance to meet a pretty worldwide, globally known medical astrologer, and she when I mention, what it is that I do and the people that I think would benefit from the astrology, she scoffs. She's like, that's not a medical issue. That's exactly what she said. I'm like, this lady is out of touch with reality. However, a lot of these beings don't care. So when I recognize, I'm like, wow, we need our own. I remember when it was at House of Real Minds one time, and I asked Brother Taj in one of those videos at House of Real Awakening Minds, I was like, hey, and this might have been like 2019, I was like, so we need our own astrological association. He was like, we have it. It's the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's just been infiltrated. Right? So it's like, yeah, okay, so that really makes sense. So we're trusting that if people really want to learn astrology sincerely, I mean, we give more than enough free resources. We have over 360 videos on our YouTube channel at 7hillstar, All Rights Reserved YouTube channel. Astrology Street has a 22 video playlist for the puppet show that I've produced here on this iPhone 6, and with puppets that I've made, and did the music myself and all the voiceovers myself, because at that time I didn't know my bros. So I produced this all on my own with the help of a couple of Moors that were, they had a time and a season. So I'm no longer connected to them. However, I trust that those would be resources that people can utilize. However, at the same time, though, getting a mirror astro literacy session would be the best thing to do first and foremost, because that way we can go into your Trinity, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. We can go into Can You See? Because I make sure you always keep your notes open, because I give notes, not just your natal chart and stuff like that, and other things, other gifts that I give. And Dr. G can attest to that. I just kind of like flooded her email with some things that I give people, usually when they get a mirror session. And then we go into the actual mirror portion of the mirror session. So I trust I can usually get things done between 3.5 hours. But whatever, you transact the eleemosynary tuition, whatever you send through Cash App, it's not like I'm like, well, it was this much more, so you owe more. If you're late, you're going to give me more. Don't be late. I'm going to tell you that now, right? Because the timing, I'm telling you how important the time is. It's very important because, I got a family to take care of. I like cooking. But anyway, I yield on that. Do we continue now into the diary things?
Okay. Oh, okay.
We good? All right, I'm gonna continue. All right, so Dr. G, I'm gonna give you about 13 things to pay attention to, right? Thing number 1, right?
Yeah.
Well, 5 of these you already kind of went through, so I'm gonna say around April 11th of 2023. What was paramount for between April 11th and May 8th, it could have been some things where it was dealing with everyday work, your everyday routine. However, like speaking about values or speaking about finances of some sort, that was very paramount. It really had to deal with your standing amongst the community, your long-term goals, and even specific career choice or continuation in what your career choice is. Would you say that between April 11th, 2023 and May 8th, 2023, that would have been the energy?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, no worries.
I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying I can't remember it was.
No worries. No worries. From May 8th, 2023 to June 5th, 2023. It was more of an energy that was pertaining to really expanding your ideals, really being able, and the way you expanded those ideals was more outreach. So would you say for that month, between the 8th May and June 5th, you were doing some type of expansion and outreach?
Expanding ideals, maybe. Yes.
All righty. From June 5th to July 2nd, heavy communication again about finances, about disposable property and possessions. Also, maybe dealing with some style of neighborhood finances. Was that something prominent between June 5th and July 2nd?
I can't say that it. I mean, we've had new people move into the neighborhood, and so that was kind of. I got new neighbors on both sides of me within the last couple of months. So I know neighborhood could have been.
That makes sense. No, that makes sense. That would make sense. Are they adding value to the neighborhood?
I'd say.
Would you say in some way, shape, or form?
In some way, shape, or form, even though it didn't start out like that. It didn't seem like.
All right. So from July 2nd to July 30th, I would say there was really something about producing something for children, being very driven to create something based on maybe occult knowledge, maybe even create something dealing with psychology. would you say that there was some? Are you looking to publish something about children and occult knowledge, or publish something about children's psychology, or did you come across some publication like that between July 2nd and July 30th?
No, I didn't. I know.
All right.
Not necessarily children, but some occult. Not necessarily. Well, occult is just hidden. So yeah, I went back to studying about NDEs and OBEs because of some previous, things that I had, out of body experiences and near death experiences all during that period. That's kind of what I've been focusing on, because there are a lot of truths that come out.
All right.
Yeah. So if that fits in there, then yes.
I mean, well, NDE, the reasons I didn't want to say, but if that would be one particular sign that I made note of, that's why I was saying occult and psychological, but another association with that particular sign is death. Mm-hmm. So having near-death experiences or things of that nature, it does give you a newness. It does give you a rebirth, so to speak. People that have experienced NDEs usually come up with like perfect pitch. You know what I'm saying? One particular, myself, I had a near-death experience, almost broke my neck, but ended up breaking my collarbone. Kind of went out for a bit. I was about 10 years old. And it was like after that, I developed perfect pitch. Was considered tone deaf before 10 years old, but after 10 years old, I developed perfect pitch.
Yeah. See, my sister's NDE, she ended up becoming electromagnetic to the point that she was shorting out everything electric, batteries of cars. She never wore a watch again, toaster, anything electronic. She just shorted when she was direct charged when she got that.
Is she an Aquarius by any chance? No, you don't have to answer that. I'm just making light of
it. She's surprising.
That's a sidereal Aquarius. It depends on which date in Pisces it was, but that's a sidereal Aquarius.
March 1.
That's amazing, actually. I was just kidding. But you answered it. So, okay, July 30th, which means you're in the middle of this right now, right? So from July 30th till August 26th, there's going to be some exalted communication. There's going to be something dealing with the immediate neighborhood. It's probably going to be something that's very dominant and gets a boost. So I would look for something pertaining to you being involved in communications and neighborhood activities that is dominatingly getting boosted for you between the 30th July and the 26th August.
Okay.
All right. I will say, if you don't mind, because we spoke briefly yesterday, I was like, you're already kind of peaking this energy already off the break. Like it's brand new and you're already doing things that pertain to that just in our conversation yesterday. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So now we're looking now this is the future stuff. This is things that, you couldn't really say, yeah, that resonates with me, because now you would have to jot it down, keep a diary, and then, let us know as times go on what takes place. So I'm going to be quick with this one, but not too quick. I want you to be able to jot it down. So 26th August until the 22nd September. This is the energy pertaining to extreme exercise. However, I wouldn't lift anything too heavy so you don't pull anything.
I just did that today.
What was you lifting?
I was lifting.
Are you serious?
That's why I've been rolling the ice thing on me. I was lifting the Amazon box out of the delivery box and about a couple hours ago, and I felt when I went to lift it with the left hand, it pulled from where right now I'm swollen and I'm in pain, because that's what I was rolling this on my arm. It's an ice.
Wow.
So you should have told me this earlier. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Of course, it didn't say now. It didn't say I was going to do this now.
That's interesting, because I don't.
But I did it today.
Really kicking off till the 26th, and I would still be, 26th of August till the 22nd September. I would still be mindful of that.
I will
honestly. Be, yeah, because you don't want to pull anything, and I'm not being grotesque here, but no growing muscle strains, no neck strains. That's kind of what I'm more looking towards to that. So yeah, you might want to let heavy lifting be until maybe the 22nd September.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna add to that with you, bro, for the August 26th. Dr. G, you probably have an urge to finish some unfinished projects, possibly make changes to your public image and your reputation. And how to really master that is just by looking within of your own inner beauty, your own inner literature. And as we've been actually now going as astrology, you'll probably really see something in a book, or you'll be going through your diary, your chart, and you'll have something that assists you with, mastering that.
Okay. That's going to be.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. So let's see. Now we're going to start from the 22nd to the 20th, right? 22nd September to the 20th October.
Okay.
Right? 22nd September, I'm seeing that there's going to be maybe some rest need to be taken. You might need some assistance. You may have to delegate some responsibilities, maybe some things you want to get done. However, you may have to delegate it to other beings because for you to take charge of it on your own, you would have to work. You would feel out of place. So that you don't feel out of place in the activities or the ideals that you want to actually be accomplished, it would probably be best between the 22nd September and the 20th October to maybe delegate those activities to someone else who would be able to handle the direction and instruction pertaining to whatever it is you need completed. You have something to add on to the 22nd September to the 20th October, Brother Sean?
Yep, I'm just kind of in agreement. She might feel like she might have to work harder, in her friend groups and her networks. So she can just master that, that energy, whether, she want to say it's negative energy or the drive might not be as strong, just by continuing to heal oneself. So maybe, studying herbs or just furthering some kind of healing practice. I remember, Dr. J, I think we've talked before, and you said you had went through the level 1 pertaining to the Reiki.
Level 2.
Oh, we went to level 2?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, maybe looking forward to do the next level.
Master, yeah.
All righty. October 20th, 2023 till the 16th November 2023. This is pretty interesting too, back to back. I would continue to rest for from 20th October till the 16th November. And here in that resting, I guess further maybe oversee activities if there's still delegated activities that still need to take place. However, you may feel that people aren't listening to you. You may think that to a certain extent that people aren't seeing what it is that you're shining light on. So what will probably be best is have someone who is comprehending your vision to assist in bringing balance to what it is that you seek to create. So it's going to have to be someone, I guess maybe they were delegated that authority around between the 22nd September and the 20th October. But for October 20th until the 16th November, you're going to really want that energy to really bring your vision to pass, because you may need to rest your mind and your heart, right? Because you don't want to, you guys aren't doing, just let me do it. I'm not saying that's who you are. I'm just saying that that's the energy that could express itself if you didn't rest.
Wow. Okay. Ooh.
All right. Do I move on, Brother Sean? You want to add on?
Yep, I got something to add on. So yeah, there could be some challenges possibly pertaining to like any social interest, maybe your hopes and wishes. But there will be an opportunity to embrace some justice with those with that are experts. And once again, just come back to mastering these fallen energies by just cleansing, purifying your home space, and just breaking down the bigger picture by simplifying it and just taking practical steps.
Okay.
All right. So next, 16th November until the 13th December. This here, this is pretty strong here. It's pretty dominating. I think you will be able to really make things behind the scenes really work for you. This might be a good time for advertisement. This might be a really good time to kind of reap the benefits of delegating that authority and having someone actually manage it for those 2 previous months. This is where you're going to see the fruit for that, so to speak. You may get a regenerative energy to take place here, and you will be able to kind of dominate behind the scenes as far as what's being produced for a very beneficial outcome that I think is on the way. Right, so that's what I got for the 16th November 2023 until about the 13th December 2023.
Okay.
D, bro, you can just keep it rolling, bro.
All right, so the 13th December 2023 till about the 10th January 2024. I think you're going to be very, 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 very driven to really delegating, maybe some type of instruction that it borders teaching. I'm not sure if you're going to be giving a class, Dr. G, or something of that sort. However, what I really do see, I see you actually giving a lead on something. Maybe there's a lecture that you're going to host or something of that sort, and you'll be hosting that, of course, but it will be taking place around the 13th December 2023. One thing I would say, however, is to really make sure that any foreign activities that take place, that you're sure that you want to actually deal with it. Let no one actually try to convince you of an idea that's not really on your mind or your heart at all, because you're not going to be driven to want to go through with it, so to speak. All right.
Wow. Yeah.
So that's for the 13th December until the 10th January. All right. Am I continuing, Brother Sean?
Indeed, bro. Indeed.
So from the 10th January 2024 until the 6th February 2024, this energy here is really taking the instruction that you gave that bordered on teaching, or maybe it was like a lecture or something of some sort. When it comes to the 10th January 2024 until 6th February 2024, you'll be able to find a means to probably partner with people that actually share the same type of values when it comes to erudition, what people will also term education in certain circles. However, this may be dealing with publishing. I don't know if you're looking to do any new books or any poetry of some sort, but if poetry was done that was something that would further teach other lessons pertaining to balancing one's activities and emotions, I think you would be very successful in making whatever that small publishing would be, or if it would be teaming up with someone who shares these similar values with you pertaining to teaching, pertaining to law and history, pertaining to publishing. All right.
Okay.
And just make note
I'm
too.
going to move forward now. This should be number 12. Oh, you got something there, Brother Sean?
Nothing, but what came to mind was just look out for something around profit, because we was in January, so just look around profit nobles drawly return. Think something really beautiful, something in literature or something's gonna come up for you around then.
January, that's the 18th.
Moment of clarity. It sounds like I'm picking up on that, Brother Sean, from you. Okay. So from the 6th February 2024 until about the 4th March 2024, this is really, really good. What'd you say?
No, I was asking you what you said from, was it 6th February or to 4th March?
Okay. From the 6th February until the 4th of March.
Okay.
2024. Here you're going to get a lot of assistance. You're going to get a huge boost. Whatever it is that you want to be at the forefront of, whatever it is you would like to present, anything that you would like to be creative in, anything pertaining to your self-expression, you're going to get a very huge boost here, to the point where it's going to seem like you're thinking things, and then it's like the universe is just gifting you different amenities to accomplish those ideals. Because I'm not sure if you're getting into some creative endeavors, like I said, as far as poetry, art, or things of that nature. But I really think it's going to really assist you in the area of bringing more of a solid structure to whatever ideals that you are cooking up right now, as far as whatever's in your heart and mind. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for the 6th February 2024 until the 4th March. Now, when the 4th March 2024 comes, this is the last one, the 13th out of what I'm looking at. Because 5, like I said, 5 of these you already experienced. There's 8 that one you're in the middle of now, and then there's 7 more, I think, that you're experiencing. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're experiencing the 5th one, and we just gave you 8. So let's get to the 8th one, which is number 13. So from the 4th March 2024 until we do this again, next year, and I could go over this again, right? Or you can definitely, talk to Iron Brother Sean and be like, hey, look, man, I kept that diary. Y'all was on point about this, not this so much, maybe a little bit here, but definitely on point about it, because we really want to know. We really want your feedback, Dr. G. We really do, all right? Because that only help us get better in our protocol and what we do with looking into the astrology. So here, right, for the 4th March, the balance that you're looking for will definitely come from pouring out not just the knowledge and information as you do, but I think you'll be able to point out the beauty of it. I think you're going to find yourself being able to more pour out knowledge in terms of parable and metaphor, to be able to have people overall, because when you share this to the collective overall, it's really going to be in terms of, how you already communicate, as far as pouring out the knowledge, sharing it, and really being altruistic and humanitarian. I think you could really take advantage of pouring out this information and knowledge by doing it either in some way, shape, or form, metaphor and or parable. And that's what I'll yield on that one. All right. So I think this is where we could take maybe questions and stuff. I mean, what's the timing looking like?
Well, we have
how looking on time. We got 18 minutes left.
Yeah, yes. I'm going to say that this has been, for me, I'm going to try to remember some of those other things that I couldn't remember. But, there's some definite things that I have on tap, maybe working on in the background or with someone or with that help. And there are some I have been given opportunity to take my hands off a lot of things. So, that was right on point. So maybe we'll be seeing more of that during that period when you pointed it out. But I'm going to report back. So let's see if there are any questions. Yeah, go ahead.
And I wanted to mention too, I know we sent you 2 other flyers. I was wondering if we could bring that up on the screen too, so that we could, briefly, shamelessly plug those 2 other flyers. But yeah, I don't see any questions in the chat. I'm still looking. I didn't see any other questions outside of that.
I believe is this.
And peaceful greetings to everyone, of course.
Peace.
That joined us.
No, that's this one.
Right.
I'm wrong.
But yeah, I didn't see any other questions. So I guess we could just plug those other 2 flyers. I guess we can start out with, the workshop or copper crystal canvases, either one.
I have the workshop.
Whichever one you bring up, because we do have a workshop coming up on the 12th for those that want to learn about the moon and Mercury in anyone's natal chart and how to analyze it. We're going to go in depth. We're going to get really technical on the 13th August. I'm doing a presentation. What'd you say?
I said we going in.
Yeah, I know, right? So my presentation is on the 12th. I'll be going over the moon and other things that are associated with the moon. And then I will end my presentation on the 12th with opening up on Mercury. And then Brother Sean will close out on Sunday, going in on Mercury. And so Brother Sean will be assisting me for Saturday, and then I will be assisting him for Sunday. But that is the 12th and 13th August 2023. I know when Dr. G brings up that flyer, you guys will be able to see it, but I'll just tell you right now because I know we have 15 minutes left. It's going to be 250 units. What'd you say, Mother?
No, I said it's showing on screen now.
Okay, it's showing. Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, cool, it is. Okay, so it's our astrological society that we put together. We've been, divinely inspired. It's the Universally Professional Astrology Community. I know the acronym spells T.U.P.A.C, right? And I and the brothers are just having a ball with that, right? We're just like, yeah, let's keep it, right? The Universally Professional Astrology Community. So you guys want to be a part of T.U.P.A.C, you guys can. It's called the Quick Thinking Moon and Mercury. That's the name of the workshop. It's Saturday and Sunday. It's from noon to 1600, right? From 1200 to 1600 or 12 p.m. Eastern, all righty, till 4 p.m. Eastern. Both Saturday and Sunday. It's only a 2-day workshop. We're going to go in 4 hours, all righty. The eliminatory tuition for lifetime membership, all righty, because there are astrological societies, I'm telling you, the one that we're a part of, they want 900, all righty, for a lifetime membership. We're not knocking them. We just, again, we're recognizing who we're speaking to. So it's 250, all righty, for a lifetime membership. I'm pretty sure that number is not going to be the same in about a year or so to come. But we want to give people the opportunity to actually be introduced to an astrological society where, again, our Albion sons and daughters grew up with astrological societies. I'm telling you what I'm experiencing, or I and my brothers experiencing, all righty, by being part of this International Astrological Association. And so we want that for our mothers and brothers. We want you to be able to be exposed to that and eventually get your children into the Universally Professional Astrology community so that they can grow up with astrology in their life, so that they can make better choices and decisions on what to do in their life, so they don't have to guess. Astrology takes a lot of the guesswork out of life, all right? So it's 250 units via Cash App, all righty? The Cash App is the Caduceus symbol or the $, Our Astrology Street, all right? It's the only one that Seven Hill Star has. It's Our Astrology Street, all right? And this workshop's lecture presentation is by Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey and Brother Sean Alim L. So we'd like for you guys to come on through and check us out on the 12th and the 13th. That's less than 11 days away, all righty? Since we're now well into the 1st, which is our authority, right? I had cast a chart some years back for our authority. when Prophet Noble Drew Ali had recorded at out there out Cook County, alrighty, near the Chicago Corporation, Illinois State Republic, had published in the county recorder's office Our Authority, and it was at 2:52 on August 1st. 1928. So that's happy Our Authority Day to everyone also, to put that out there. And with that being said,
here's the other
next flyer then, Dr. G, would be copper crystal canvases, right? This good sister is a true and faithful Moorish American. She has, the ideas and the things that I've seen this sister craft when I see the different things that she's done, I was like, man, this is going to be huge. She's really big on electroculture and healing with copper and the crystals. And soon I think you will be seeing artwork from her too that you will be able to get also, because she's a phenomenal painter also. Right, so copper crystal canvases. She's able to, connect with Seven Hill Star, and she has her own page on Seven Hill Star with copper crystal canvases, guys. And what you see right there in that picture, it is a plant stake for electroculture. So I seen a picture of a plant that she had, and it had like maybe one leaf to it. And then I think it was maybe a moon cycle and a half later with the plant stake in it, using the copper and the crystal. It was like, I think it went from like 2 leaves to 13 leaves. And so I learned about electroculture from this sister, and I'm just like, wow. And soon she's gonna, show who she is and everything, but I'm respecting her privacy. She's like, advertise the business, but don't tell nobody who I am just yet. It's like, all right, cool, that's fine. Like, you guys are gonna be like, whoa, that's who it is. Like, yeah, right. But anyhow, copper crystal canvases. I'm actually wearing some of it now. I wanted my orgonite set a certain way, and I like how it's like grid work on my orgonite, but I wanted her to fix my orgonite into copper, so I'm actually wearing some copper set orgonite from her. I already had the orgonite. I just wanted her to set it in copper. This one that people call the evil eye. I don't call this evil eye though. This copper pinky ring here, and I really like this, but this is my style. Alrighty. It's one that she did for Brother Corey. It is amazing, right? I can't wait till Brother Corey takes pictures of it. I should have brought it in here to kind of show it off or whatever, but I'm not going to do that. This one right here is like some bracelets that she has also. It's like let's see. It's called the Super 7. So it was like there's a crystal that's like made of 7 different ones that's been compressed together, and this is what they came up with. And so when they break the crystals down, it's like, wow, you know what I mean? Like it's super amazing to see. I remember when I first put this on, because I was asked, hey, let me know what energy you feel when you put this on, and I was like, all right. And I immediately, once I put it on, I felt myself sleeping better. I didn't feel sluggish waking up. And of course, I am vegan. I don't eat, meat or dairy or anything like that. But I noticed that this had a certain balance with it, along with the copper that I'm wearing. Even though I have like silver on here and gold in my ears or whatever, but I really pay attention to the copper energy. And then this Super 7, it's like, wow. So you guys can go on 7hillstar.com, and you click the More tab in the top right hand corner, and click copper crystal canvases. You'll see more of these things. And this one here is the solar system bracelet, right? That she has also. So I was like, you know what? That's up my alley. I'm an astrologer, so I want to be able to have the solar system on my wrist. So I figured I could model a few things, but this is my style of things that I want. And she does custom everything. I don't think there's any one piece that she has that is a duplicate at all. So guys, just want to let you know again about the Quick Thinking Moon and Mercury Astrology Workshop and Copper Crystal Canvases. Brother Sean has the Mental Magician Report. When you guys join the Quick Thinking Moon and Mercury, Brother Sean is going to give as like evidence to your lifetime membership. He's going to give you a Mental Magician Report 1.0. Like the one he did for Kendrick Lamar. Alrighty. So I want you guys to be able to, not only when you come for a quick thinking moon in Mercury, you guys will also get a mental magician report. And don't be turned off by mental magician. We call things certain ways, knowing that it's going to hook you in or maybe repel you. And it's like, look, guys, come on, really see the information that's in it. And when you see it, you'll be like, oh, you guys are calling Mercury the mental magician. Of course we are, right? Because in certain astrological circles that we are in, they call Mercury the trickster. But some people call Mercury other things. You know what I mean? So it was like mental magician, right? Because Mercury deals with thinking, and who can do tricks but a magician. But we already know it's no real thing such as magic. You're only really dealing with wholeheartedly knowing inside yourself how to exercise your will, and exerting reason and being prudent. So you'll be able to also get a mental magician report 1.0 when you join the universally professional astrology community when partaking in the quick thinking moon and Mercury astrology workshop. We got 6 minutes left. 6 minutes left. I yield, brother Sean. You got
add to that, bro. And the magician part, for anyone that does tarot or knows about tarot, actually the first card is called the Magician, ruled by Mercury. So that's where the mental magician comes from. And I guess some final remarks is that I will soon be open to clients for Reiki. I am a Reiki master, 3 years certified, and also have been secretly, but I'll say it, I've been also taking some more advanced courses, right, for that. So I'll be looking for clients. I've promoted it, but I've been really doing a lot of clearing. So I just did not want to work on anyone while I'm, clearing heavy myself. So I'll definitely make that, very clear and known soon for anyone looking to, work on different things. Like I have a lot of various techniques, just also as well as we do with the astrology. So be looking for that. Brother Hasan can attest. And I think I've got a couple testimonials somewhere in my sea of other things amongst my phone from a couple Instagram lives I did a few sessions for some beings, and I've done a lot of work for a lot of friends and family and beings I didn't even know a while back. So I just shout out brother Hasan because he always motivates me to promote myself, because I'll just kind of keep myself and not really say things, but yeah, I'll be opening to that. And I said, shout out to the bros, the Moon Mercury workshop, shout out to Copper Crystal Canvases, shout out to the Exalted Cyclops, Brother Jag, and yeah, 7healstar.com.
One heart supplement, sea moss.
And one heart. Yeah, get you some of that sea moss. And yeah, for those that wanting to learn the astrology, we have the workshop. As bro suggested, getting the mirror first beforehand. I would also say to get a Clock of Destiny, Circle of Life. That's also a really great starter point to assist, so that when one even gets their mirror session, they already have a generalization, what the planets are, and it also teaches about aspects, so that one will be able to really get it quickly. So definitely get that as a good starter point, and it's from Charles Mosley Bey, Sentient Beings, our Moorish community. As there are plenty, books out there to teach astrology, but for me, I came into it first by, Sentient Beings, so that was my starting point. And with the workshops, we have, ready and available, so that one can take their time, so they don't feel rushed or pressured, like they have to hurry up and do this. It's already documented, ready to go, and we'll also be ready to assist you if they have any questions. You can reach us. When you go to the About Us page on 7healstar.com, we have all our links and everything else in there to reach us, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. So yeah, we are looking to continue to uplift, follow humanity. What's up, bro? I yield.
And join us on our YouTube also. On, because y'all can see Dr. G, I know, on Tuesdays and Fridays. On Sunday, Wednesdays, Fridays before Dr. G goes live, and on Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Seven Hill Star YouTube channel, guys. We on Sundays we go over civics. Monday is astrology. Wednesday, so tomorrow is our 7-day tropical medical astro weather report, where we give you 7 days in advance. So from Thursday till next Wednesday. So we're going to go in tomorrow on Thursday to up to next Wednesday. You can check that out. And on Fridays we go over civics again. Alrighty. So you know, Sunday civics, Monday and Wednesday astrology. Friday is civics again for impromptu improv on Fridays. Tuesdays and Thursdays, Tuesdays before office hours with Dr. G, we're at Lawful Living Friends-in-Law going over these jurisprudence concepts. And we're there on Thursdays also. And it's usually 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern. And so adjust your time zones accordingly. I think that's 2 Central. You know what I mean? For those that are near the Central time zone. And that's about it. I mean, there's so many other things.
There's a couple questions.
Seven Hill Star's Instagram. You know, go ahead. I yield.
Okay, here I just wanted to read a couple of questions I see. One from MW. I'll put it up. And MW, thank you for coming this weekend. Any insights on the 2 super moons this month? That's the first question.
When it really comes to moons, or they're calling super moons, for myself, it's like, where are we on our travel, as far as, you know, our orbit, and how close is the moon to us, for one, and if you're seeing what people call a blood moon at certain times, if that's what you're speaking to also. The only thing I really say is pay attention to how your subconscious mind is, pay attention to your emotions, pay attention to the water in your body. The biggest thing for me when it comes to the moon is observing the Ekadashi fast. Ekadashi is, you know, imagine when the moon goes from new moon to full moon and full moon to new moon, as it makes that transit, it has 12 degrees, and a 12-degree set is called a Tithi, T-I-T-H-I. When it gets to the 11th Tithi, called Ekadashi, eat no grain. Because when you're dealing with issues pertaining to what they call super moons, remember the moon controls the water in your body. And when you're eating grains that absorb that water like that, you end up usually having a pretty crappy day.
Yep, I messed up one time and did. Yep.
I thought when I
I messed up like, oh no, I forgot.
It's funny. Yeah, indeed. And I got this from observing, because I'm the type being that is like, I don't deal with dogma, right? I don't like just believing something and being dogmatic with it. So it's like, I wanted to observe what they call, you know, the Hindu religion. And when I looked at it and I studied the Brihat Parashara or Shastra, is their unbroken tradition of astrology near Hindustan, what's termed the Republic of India now. But it will always be Sindh to me because of the river that runs by it. What I noticed was the stories they were telling, I had a moment where I was like, this is stuff that's dealing with the actual body. And that's what made me look at even the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary and noticing that anything we're dealing with these so-called holy books are really pertaining to our consciousness and our endocrine system. And at different moments when the moon is at certain portions of its orbit around the Earth,
Oh, bro froze up again.
I know. What did you say? Okay. Well, check that. Let me see if I can get it back in.
Yeah.
Actually,
there
you
go. There I go. So so what I'm saying is yes, when it comes to any moon, so to speak, I would pay attention to the waters on the planet, the waters within oneself, and then knowing how those waters react when you intake grain at certain portions of the moon's travel. So the 11th TT called Ekadashi, I mean, there's websites, you can look it up. Ekadashi is spelled E-K-A, because Ekadash, D-A-S-H, Ekadash is 11 in Hindi, Ekadash. So Ekadashi or Ekadashi is the 11th 12 set travel of the moon. 12 degree set of travel of the moon. So you get 12 degrees. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. When it gets to that 11th set of 12 degrees, don't eat any grain. Test it out. Don't do it just because it's like, oh, it's a dogmatic practice. They do it in the Hindu religion. That's not why I wanted to know it. I wanted to see. So there was one time I ate some grain during, and some time that I didn't. Guess what I learned? Don't eat any grain during that time of the moon. It's two of them. For real, you got what's called the Shukla-Paksha. Shukla-Paksha is when the moon is increasing in light from the new moon to the full moon. And then you have the Krishna-Paksha. The Krishna-Paksha is when it's going from the full moon to the new moon. So when it gets to that 11th set of 12 degrees, that's when you do not want to eat any grain. I think that would be the best observance of a supermoon when dealing with any moon or supermoon. Does that satisfy MW?
All right. I would hope so. Well, I'm going to do one more question from Jose Ruiz. I believe it's saying, when is our birthday really, I guess, considered when we come out of the womb or at conception?
Considering.
I just consider.
I think I see the question. I got it. So let's say, for example, I didn't think I was going to speak on this, but so I did look at conception for you, Dr. G. I looked at it.
Okay.
So I do have a tool where I can look at conception. So instead of getting into the technical of the tool, I'll make it very simple. Even though I think, Dr. G, when it came to you, you were conceived, I think I can say this part because it's not real revealing, but I think you were conceived about June 28th of 1954.
Okay.
Right? It would have been really cool if, we could, you could ask like, Mom, Dad, but, it is what it is, right?
They're gone.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said, unless you want to, do a seance. Anyway, how you could tell, right? And this is kind of different because most people would say you would need to have a full term. And I think full term would be about 273 days, right? Which is about, roughly 3/4 of the zodiac. The latitude of the moon, the longitude is what we're used to seeing. Oh, my moon is at 12 degrees Aquarius. When you're saying 12 degrees Aquarius, 57 minutes, you're talking about celestial longitude. The latitude is how far off of the ecliptic plane it is, which is the sun. The ecliptic plane is the sun's path. So let's say you're full term, right? And you wanted to see when you were conceived. You can cast a chart from when you were conceived. That I'm not necessarily calling that your manifestation date, even though you are going from zygote to what are the three stages? Is zygote, fetus, and embryo. Zygote, embryo, fetus. So you're going from the zygotic stage to the embryonic stage to the fetal stage, right? However, you can look for the latitude. The latitude of the moon when you manifest it, if you are full term, whatever the latitude of the moon is, we go back 10 months lunar, but it would be 9 months solar. And we look for that exact latitude. And that's where we can get about the idea of when one was conceived. It's like, okay, well, the latitudes are equal, about 9 sun months apart. right? So 9 calendrical months apart. So now that we're looking at that, we can go, well, if you want to go off of conception, then this is what we can look at and look at that development for those roughly 273 days. However, for me, like when I and my beloved mother, mistress consort, just manifested our beloved little one in whom we're well pleased, since I was right there and we did what we did naturally, no midwives, nothing, it was just us, just me and her. Our eldest son was there and in the other room too, because it as much as we planned, it happened when it happened at a time we didn't plan for. So everything that we planned for it to go, it didn't go that way. However, once the manifestation happened, I waited till, because as soon as our little one manifested, and she held our little one and turned them over, there was this wham that came out. I say, hold on, what time was that? So that's what I went off of, and I jotted down that time and did everything from there. So to answer your question, most astrologers would practice if they knew, if somebody could tell them when the first breath was taken. Other people are just like, look, what day was it that you were no longer inside the womb, right? And then some people will go, when was the umbilical cord detached? Because some people do lotus, you know what I mean? So some people will have manifested their baby on, let's say, for example, they manifested their baby on September the 3rd, right? And they did lotus, what they call, lotus birthing or whatever. They kept the umbilical cord attached, right, until it dried out or whatever. It broke off, and then they snapped it once it really dried out, so that the baby continued to get the cord blood and all that, right? And let's say that happened 3 or 4 days later on the 6th or on the 7th. Then some people be like, okay, that baby was born on the 6th or 7th September, even though they exited the womb on the 3rd. So it really depends on that. Me and my practice for right now, since I actually had a manifestation in front of my face at the time that it happened, and I took the and I took the time and took note of it, I just went off of as soon as I heard him cry. That's just what it was. Because I just wanted to wait, because it just seemed like it was just fast. Like, hold on, I see a head. Hold on, she got him. She turned him over. Wow. I was like, okay, well, what time is that real quick? So that's what it was for me. And when I jotted down that time, that's the time that I go off of. I look, even though he's, fresh, I look forward still already. I'm looking like, okay, when he turns 7, we should be seeing this happen. When you turn 14, this, and when you turn 21, this. You know what I mean? I'm already looking at that. And I'm already looking at other things that have already occurred, in these few months. And I'm just like, he's really on time according to how I'm seeing certain right and certain transits. So I hope that answers Jose's question. You said Jose, right?
Right. Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, I want to say thank you both. And I want to say, if you will look in the description, I'm talking to those who are still in the chat, please look in the description box, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube. And there is all of not only Brother Hasan and Brother Sean's information, but the whole team. I put it all in, all the links in the chat if you're interested in, and of course the sevenhillstar.com, but all of their, like you said, their Instagrams and all that stuff is all in the comments, not the comments, in the description section of that. So please make sure you look at that and get any links and any contact. I want to thank you all for being on the show, and thank you for, using me as your example.
Thank you, Dr. G.
And we'll see what that ends up. And I will talk to you about something you mentioned somewhere down the line about some education, erudition rather. And there is something that I just kind of thought that I put together maybe about 5 years ago and wrote it down, wrote a little description of it. And just yesterday it was thinking it's time to put that into action. Sometimes you write something down and it's not for the time that you write it down, but it's for future time. And I remember saying, I think it's time for me. I think I know enough people now that we could actually literally make that happen. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm looking forward to
Islam.
Yeah. So it's exciting how things play out. You know what I mean? And you don't know why you're doing certain things, and then you figure it out. I was trying to figure out what the heck what was I actually when did I think about that? You probably could find that in my chart, right? Here, I
mean,
developed.
Hey, look, if you just take the time to sit and do
I
it,
did
yes,
this on September 18th. No, what is this? September 16th, 2018, when I came up with this concept, which is about a university.
Indeed. So that was 5 years ago. That would have been 63. So let's see. 60, 61, 62, 63. That's the fourth house perfection. That actually makes, hold on, let me think about, that makes sense. And you want it to be spiritually based, so to speak, like where you just don't want people just learning like reading, writing, and arithmetic. You want them to be able to make the connection pertaining to probably spiritual exercise. Like, hey, we can't start these lessons until you do this yoga. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, that's not written in that, but as I have progressed in various things, basically, it's a university that I call the KTU, the Knowledge Transfer University, and it's a Moorish erudition of applied sciences and ancestral knowledge transferred to Moors of all ages for the propagation of societal independence and interdependence, along with the perpetuation of progressive civilization. KTU employs the same Kofa approach of going back and reclaiming what was taken or forgotten.
So if you got a date, if you got a time, that would be great too. What we could do to that is, of course, off the record, we could actually cast a chart for that and kind of look at how that idea has grown in the past 5 years, and look to see if there's something within that progression of that idea in the past 5 years. Like, hey, look, this seems like a great grand opening day, or a great day to actually start it. Or if you want to do it online, get what they call an SaaS, software as a service, and then have it be a software as a service where people can interact with it that way, possibly, or something like that. Like, we can analyze it.
Yeah,
we can at least analyze it, see what we see about it, and then speak to those energies that are there.
Yeah, I'm just saying what's happened over the last 5 years is that I've interfaced with a lot of different Moors, and I've gotten a lot more knowledge of what folks are doing and what they offer, and each one to me becomes a university course. Our university isn't their university. Our university are the things that subject matters are what we deem important and necessary. And so, yes, where they won't go and get astrology, our university requires astrology, like you mentioned for the children. And then our university is not limited to those who get to a certain age. It becomes a university at birth when you're entered in to it. So the things that you learn before you get to, whether it's online or in person, your parent has to equip the child with some of those things that they can do at home. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Fly by.
Yes.
But yeah. Yes. So it's I like
that.
Yes. And so I'm sitting here listening to you all. You all are your university course has to do with or track is astrology. You know what I mean? And maybe it's other metaphysical sciences, and maybe tarot and different things. But that's a real necessity. You in that same track there might be numerology. Probably numerology is in there. Those are things that must be known and must be learned.
Mm-hmm.
So when you bring the different experts together to bear and give them the opportunity for their course, bring them together so that they're accessibility to the people. that they don't have to go hinder and yon. It exists there. So here's the link here for that. When you go here, you got this university class course, this one, this track, that track. I think we need it.
Yes. I mean, look, when I took my scholarship
the number just
course,
went to people. The numbers dropped down, but just went up again. But the number went to one. That's why I said that it went to 111. And I was like, okay, that's a confirmation.
Confirmation. Yeah. So I mean, I would say very briefly, when I took my scholarship course, I recognized that I was in a international astrology conference, and the different people that were presenting, like, I'm at the same, iPad or computer at the same time, just doing what I do. But at one time there was a presenter near the Washington, like in one day I'm learning from somebody near the Washington State Republic, and somebody else is giving a presentation that's near Brisbane, Australia. And then the next day I had to sit at the feet of someone via Zoom that was near Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going through this scholarship program, but I'm sitting in presentations pertaining to different astrologers from all over the world. It's really funny story too about the Turkey one, because one of my favorite Turkish astrologers, Oner Dozier, was having technical difficulties. He's huge in Turkey. I mean, he's on the news and everything. And I'm sitting here like, yo, I'm having a moment because I'm here taking class with Oner Dozier. However, they had technical problems. Nobody could figure it out. So the president of that major astrological organization is trying to figure it out, vice president, the moderator. And so I know what the technical difficulty is that they're having. I can see it. I don't speak Turkish though, but him and his partners, you can hear them speak in Turkish. So I just go to Google Translate and type in my questions and my suggestions in Google Translate and translate to Turkish and send it to them. Long story short, it solves the problem, but I can hear people that didn't have their mics turned off was like, how does Hasan know Turkish? I don't know Turkish. I know my tools. And that's what I think people need to do with getting back to our ancient foremothers and forefathers mindset. We need to be able to just know how to use the tools so that we can get to the goal. That's the whole purpose of AstroLiteracy. And I yield.
Yes. Well, listen, there are some wonderful things I know that are coming up, for just, like I said, the folks that I have, the Moors I have an opportunity to interact and interface with. And I just, please allow me, I know it's at the end of your video, but to say that I want to give a great thank you to everyone who came out this past weekend. We had an amazing, and I'm not even, I'm not just exaggerating, but we really, really had an amazing coming together or gathering. It was Soulful Summer Gathering and Strategic Planning Retreat, and then we ended it with a holistic day. That last day, and everything, was absolutely amazing. And I just want to say thank you for those who traveled. Only literally every corner we had. I mean, well, not every corner, but the West Coast, East Coast, North and South, we had, and all points in between, all the way up to, Canaan land. So we had a really good turnout. We had some young people. We had some suggestions that we would open it up to more young people. And I do believe that that's what we should do. And so next year, big one, I think what we're going to try to do is get a larger place so that we definitely can have the young people. And in the meantime, try to get these young people kind of up to par, if you will, about the necessity. It's about deprogramming them, because they're being programmed to look at everything but the things that are important to their longevity and well-being. So how do we do that without being those old people? And for some of them, even Hasan and Sean, you all are old. They're so young now, and they're putting together these amazing TikTok videos, with this knowledge and all that stuff. But they look at somebody who's, got a 3 or a 4 in front of their name. I mean, their age, and it's like, oh, those are old people. Well, where that puts me. I am one of the great elders, and so, but still, we need their input. We need their, not just their input, we need their participation. Because, you know,
Mm-hmm.
if you pass the baton on to
Yes.
someone, you want to make sure that you're passing that on to someone who can cross the finish line.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you can't, yeah,
Absolutely. I
you
agree. I
can't do
yield.
it. Yeah, you can't do it if they're not prepared. You know, so and that's what we have to do. I think we've been letting them just leaving them to their own, you know, being educated by TikTok and Instagram, and so it's good. Or the worst thing, the school system.
Oh
That
yeah.
is the worst, the educational system. You know, and I'm convinced that really the Board of Education was a good name, because I say they're bored, BORED, of education. They just, you know, they're smarter. You know what I mean? They're smarter than the average, you know, teacher that's probably trying to teach them. So we need to make it so that they can, their voices can be heard. Their input is as important as, you know, anybody else's. But those of us who still have, you know, some energy and some life and so forth need to be passing it down, you know, passing it on. And so I appreciate you
Yes.
all and this, and hopefully when I come
You're-
knocking at your door with regard to, you know, university, you know, if there's a track, see, and I see a university where everybody still has to. I mean, you don't have to become the House of Reawakening Minds University. KTU is just called knowledge transfer, so you can do it wherever you are. But I want the concept to be universal. You know, if you're teaching a course
Indeed.
in civics and so forth, and it worked, that okay, we're gonna put you to them. But we want it at a university level. When they finish that, you know, show them that they have matriculated, or whatever word you want to use, through our system. So, and it's so many different tracks. So,
Yes.
yeah. So anyway,
Yes.
so anywho, I want to thank you all. I'm looking. Ayana Spikes. I sent you an email regarding here. May I please have the website? I will look for your email and I will send it to you. I don't I have a link. You know, I have a link, and I don't know how to put the link down there, but I'll look for your email and I can send it to you. You can go directly to the link and purchase. But hopefully, interjection is in there. Yeah, interjection is it said navel, but I think it's natal chart, part of astrology. How can I like? He thinks it's a navel chart, but you can tell him.
I'll be
Is it a
fine.
navel
I
chart?
mean, I can comprehend the question.
Yeah.
I mean, you're navigating
China
hell,
is
right?
a
You're
navel.
navigating,
It
you know,
still is, yeah.
you know. Yeah, I mean, I can accept that, you know, artistically speaking.
Now we just think about
Honestly,
it.
what I've recognized, though in studying CM Bey's work, and I think that's a part of the half that has not been told at the time that Prophet Noble Drew Ali was on the scene. And so I don't get into dogmatic conversation because that's not my area. However, with meeting Prophet Noble Drew Ali in his literature and meeting CM Bey in his literature, what I've actually recognized is, by me being Moorish American and meeting Prophet Noble Drew Ali in his literature, to comprehend the history and the law, the jurisprudence overall, by me actually embracing the astrology also, I can actually see the astrology in the Quran. I can see that, you know, because some people will say that Prophet Noble Drew Ali didn't bring astrology. However, I beg to differ when the Moorish American prayer says by night and by day. How do you recognize night or day?
Yeah. Sun and the moon.
You know, period. That's the only way you're going to be able to recognize the sun above or below the horizon. That sounds very astronomical and astrological to me. What I think has happened is, and this is what I trust that Seven Hill Star offers. We offer a relief from the social engineering and dogmatic conversations out there about things that most people have not taken time to get into. So to answer Mike's question, I think from my experience, it was best for me to declare and proclaim my nationality while I'm learning about astrology, because now I can be in full harmony with nature. I personally, and again, not knocking any of my colleagues, someone is not Moorish American and not in harmony with nature. They want to have pronouns and all these other things. They're just astro enthusiasts. Because a sincere astrologer is here to master not only themselves, but however the workings pertaining to nature. We're already born masters. We're just being taught and reminded pertaining to that mastery. So if one isn't Moorish American, one will not be able to thoroughly comprehend that. You wouldn't even have, like, our Albion sons and daughters wouldn't even have the Magna Carta if it wasn't for our Moorish zodiac constitution. So our zodiac constitution is the foundation for all operations on this planet, if not within this solar system, actually, to be completely honest with you, based on my studies. So I would say, yes, it would behoove one's to declare and proclaim their nationality, to really know the astrology. I just know that due to Mother Rashida Bey, the Sayaraha for Great Seal National Association of Moorish Affairs, her making the predictions in my life and telling me what I'm going to, embark upon these, especially within the next, 15 to 25 years, that she has basically looked ahead, and I have also. What I see is, if you don't declare and proclaim your nationality, you're shortchanging yourself when it comes to learning about jurisprudence, civics, astrology, which really it's all astrology for me, because I recognize that as it is above, so it is below. So like if somebody's like, well, like I'm dealing with a civics issue, traffic tickets, court cases, I can look to your 9th house and the development of it. And things, you know what I mean? Let's see what your 9th house promises. What's transiting your 9th house? You know what I mean? Like, seriously. So I'm trusting that that answers Mike's question, because I get it too. And this is not saying that Mike is doing it, but a lot of people are trying to find a reason to not be Moorish American, right? As if it's like something that, oh, well, that's them group of people over there. We can be all these other terminologies over here. We don't have to be Moorish American. However, the foundation of everything on this planet is because of the Zodiac Constitution. Some people would be like, oh, well, a man wrote that. I think a man recorded his observations of something that cannot be circumscribed at all. It's something that's going to happen. So it's like, hold on, let me observe. Yeah, it's going to happen regardless. So why not make the observations and then jot your observations so that you can better forecast, other days to come, years to come, so to speak. So I trust that answered Mike's question. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you can't be... You really can't be anything other than Moorish American. You know what I mean? Sometimes I'd be like, it needs to be other people to say that, because you can have people out here trying to be like, they're the hood astrologer. And it's just like, I can see what they're going to be short in, because they haven't been exposed to what you are seeing some of these books behind me. By not being exposed to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, by not being exposed to CM Bey, you're missing a great chunk of your foundation, and that's going to only help to perpetuate social engineering instead of solving the issues of social engineering. And with that, I yield the floor. Brother Sean, do you have anything to add? Because I know I'm being quite verbose, so let me stop pontificating about on my soapbox. You have anything to add?
Yeah, that was beautiful. Yeah, bro. I mean, he was... Hold on, I'm gonna hit your voice. Aldebaran. You was definitely spot on with that.
I'm gonna ask brother Sean if you would send me a little bit of you could focus some Reiki over this way.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you that earlier when I was sitting there thinking about it. I was like, Then we kind of got in on doing what we was doing. I was like, oh yeah, because I was sitting here like, I was like, man, she said she pulled her arm. I was like, what box was she lifting? And then you
I
had came and said you was lifting that box. So I was like, all
two
right.
boxes
So
of
yeah, I'll
cat.
get you together.
Yeah, it was cat food. Two box. They were in one box with two cases of cat food, and I reached into our. I can't do it. I reached down with one hand to lift the box up, and I felt my arm go. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Wow.
I had to drop it because
Brother
I felt
Sean,
like,
Brother Sean
yeah,
is amazing. Just want to say
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna set you in there.
Yes,
I'm gonna do a little loop for you. I'm actually gonna put some little good stuff in there to help you rest and recharge as well, and just eat and kind of kick back for about the next 3 days.
okay, all right. I want to be with
Yeah,
my class.
I'll say this
Look,
one more
class
thing.
reunion. I don't want my arm to hurt Saturday.
It's long. I do want to add about Brother Sean, because Brother Sean's like, yo, you need to learn the Reiki too, man. I think he'd be good at it, and like I think he's being, really humble about it. But if I'm not mistaken, like he said, he's secretly taking advantage. I think bro's like a level 4 or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, am I wrong on that, bro? But I'm
I
gonna
did the
learn
level
from Brother Sean.
Yeah, I've done the level 4. I finished all that when I did my class, and probably about the past year, I've been doing an advanced course. Hearing out just from when I have the time or my teacher has the time. So I've even did more advanced techniques and have a couple more things to learn. Past just the level 4. So yeah, there's a lot of extra things that I can do as well. Yeah, there's a lot of extra things that I can do as well. I'll just say that.
Thank you so much.
Hey, mother, hey, look, Mother Naila. Look, one time, me and my baby was like, "It's something going on in this particular room, right? In a particular room, in a spot we were, right? And it's like, he was like, Brother Sean, the dog won't even really mess with this room. So he's like, yo, can you do something remotely? And ever since Brother Sean did what he did, and I think we had like some carpeting replaced or whatever, never had any issues with that. The dog couldn't stay out of it. Like, Brother Sean's really good. I'm not bragging. I'm just giving my testimony to when we called upon him.
I don't say things to everybody because I know what it means about energy. I know how it could be a miss, but I felt this. So that is well, with that, we are going to close out. I was waiting for the sister to tell me whether or not that was still her email, so I can.
Oh, it's time to get jiggy.
But anyway, so don't hang up when we go. Listen, everyone, thank you again. I think I said again, I thank you. We said we weren't going to do another event till a year from now, so we can plan for a real big one. But Most High said, no, you can't wait a whole year. It's too many critical things. They be smaller things, but you got to keep doing something. You can't put a big old gap in between there. The folks want to know that something is going on, even if it's baby steps. At least it's forward moving. So I thank you. I thank you, every one of you, for sticking around for extra half hour, 33 minutes. And I'm going to let y'all go. And again, we're going out with the music that Brother Hasan Ghaziel Bey. He created that. I mean, some folks just stay on just to hear the music. They love the beat and so forth. So
gratitude.
For me waking up that day with that beat in my song in my mind, and all I did was sang it to you, and you said, give me your voice and say, yeah, that's me. And the next thing I know, you would put it all together, and the rest is history. Excuse me. So, and I love it. I love it. So again, that's another thing. Yes, like I said, the music too. Yeah, we have to make sure we have a university course on the music so the right frequencies are being created. It's there's so many things.
Yes.
So many. All right, then. We out of here because my arm is saying do something with me. But thank you so much. I'm sorry. I've probably been a little distracted because I've been rolling this thing that was hot, was cold, now it's hot, and I'm still rolling it on my arm. It's like it lost its icy feeling, but I know I'm gonna get a miracle. I'm gonna have a Reiki energy mirror. I believe in energy, and I think Brother Sean knows I got away from doing a lot of my Reiki because I was so focused on I do my AO scan. I'm like, it'll do it for me. You know what I mean? There's nothing like, that your own energy, coming through. And I do know that. With that, I yield. I thank you. I thank you and you and you and you and you and all of you and all in the chat for tuning in. And I guess I'll see y'all on Friday. Just let you know, it's a heads up for those here. Friday, the Grand Sheik, we'll be starting an hour. I think an hour later. We'll be doing 8:30 to 10:30 on this particular holy day instead of 7:30 to 9:30. So you'll see it when it comes up. It'll be an hour later than normal. Okay. All right, y'all.
Wow.
Just stick around if you don't mind for a minute. We're out.
Tragedy.
Dr. G. Really? Oh shit.
Yeah, that's me.
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 Dr. G. Really? Oh shit.
Yeah, that's me.